Welcome. My name is Doug Simcox, and I'm here today on this Thursday, August 24th, 2023, with Mr. Sam Swearingen. Now, Sam and I are riding for the brand BTC Beyond the Chutes. Today, Sam and I are going to catch up. We're going to discuss some current events and some upcoming rodeo PBR events that you're going to want to check out. We're also going to bring you up to date on what our sponsor, Parasite Systems, has been doing for us behind the scenes. And in addition, I'm going to put Sam on the spot, and I'm going to ask him a little bit of his coaching, mentoring philosophy when it comes to teams. So Sam, he's with us today. Now, he is a two-time North American Rodeo Cowboys saddle bronc riding champion. He's several-time IFR qualifier, PRCA champion several times over. Rodeo stock contractor, mentor, coach, fan of rodeo. Sam, you're in New York today. How are things? How are you doing?
Everything's good, Doug. Up here, the weather's decent. I hate to say it because of the rest of the country, but we're a little cooler than normal.
You are?
So,
okay.
About 70 degrees this morning or today. That's going to be the high probably. So a little cooler than normal, but been good.
Okay.
Been really good.
And any smoke up there?
No, not today. Last week there was some, but it just seems to come in waves. It just depends which ways the wind's blowing, I guess, just like life. We go the way the wind's blowing.
Well, in a bit, we're going to talk about the wind blowing us up into Canada here in a couple weeks. But before we do that, we want to say thank you to Parasite Systems for their support with our podcast. And I talked to Eric, and they are putting together a coupon, Sam, for 50% off the kits, the testing kits. So you go online at parasitesystems.com, you order the kits, 50% off, send in your material. They will analyze it, come back and give you a report out. And it is coupon BTC 023. Again, that's coupon BTC 023, and it is 50% off. So, Sam, I've ordered some kits. They're going to be coming in to me. I'm going to send some up to you. And I'm going to send some to Kathleen. She's got 3 horses over there. And we're going to go through the process, and we're going to see what the results are, what comes up. Do you have an idea of what you're going to run your testing on up there?
I'm going to do both horses and cattle.
You are? Okay.
I've got horses out in pasture, and I'll do them, and I've got cattle in pasture. I'll do those. And also I got cattle in the feedlot that I'll do separately.
Okay.
That way I'll see if it's different from the pasture to the feedlot. I'm very intrigued with it.
Okay. And what I will do is I will have their website in our notes on our podcast. We'll talk about it here in a bit. I'll give the exact, it's of course, parasitesystems.com, but I will put that link, so all you got to do is go in the notes, click on it, and it should take you right to that webpage. Okay? And let us know. Yeah, check it out. But, Sam, I got stuff coming, so stand by. Don't order up anything just yet.
I'll be waiting.
Okay. Now, speaking of ordering up stuff, I've been thinking a little bit, Sam, about some podcast BTC merchandise. I don't know. I like coffee cups. You know, when we went to Nashville this last weekend, went to the Country Music Museum and Hall of Fame, I've got a beautiful, beautiful coffee cup. I love having it on my desk. I think it'd be kind of cool. This is me thinking out loud. I think it'd be kind of cool to have the BTC logo on a nice big coffee cup to drink your morning coffee from. What do you think?
Bring it on.
Okay.
Bring it on.
Okay.
I kind of like you. I got a favorite coffee cup Carrie bought me when she took the boys to Wyoming.
Oh, okay.
And,
yeah.
That one's my favorite. Not the only one I drink out of, but that's my favorite. So.
Perfect. What about ball caps? Any interest there? Ball caps?
Not for me. I don't wear one.
Okay. What about T-shirts?
There's a lot of people that do.
There are. T-shirts?
Well, I don't wear T-shirts either, but a lot of people do.
Okay. And you know what's big? I was standing in line at the Country Music Museum and Hall of Fame, and they have stickers for sale. You buy like a vinyl sticker, and I had a woman behind me. I said, "What do you do with the stickers?" And she says, "Oh, we have a restaurant, so we put them up on the wall." And my daughter likes to put them on her coffee cup, or her Arctic type or Yeti type coffee cup. So she's got it with her. They're vinyl. They stick on. I don't know anything about it, but I'm thinking podcast merchandise.
Well, you got to grow and get bigger or you get left behind.
Absolutely. All right. So speaking of merchandise, did you follow this auction to benefit Kane Smith, your niece Jody's son? Did you follow any of the action on there?
I did. I looked at it quite a bit, and it was very interesting. Yeah. I'm sorry you didn't get the fudge, but poor Michelle, I thought she needed fudge. She's not bigger than a stick,
right?
But
and then as it turned out, who would stand to the very last minute and just beat the 12 o'clock, which I didn't even know what time it ended, so it's not like I would have made any difference. But he timed it like 11:59. He hit the button. So Michelle didn't get it. I didn't get it. I'd seen him only ask some questions about the fudge. But 15 pounds of fudge, what in the world, Sam? What would I have done with 15 pounds of fudge except share it with everybody, right?
If you ate it yourself, I don't, that wouldn't be good. So, you should share it.
You should share it. And you sold a bucking horse on there. You donated a bucking horse to it.
I did. I've never bucked him. He is bred very well. Mm-hmm. He's out of either 99 or 906, the horse I got from Joe Wan out of South Dakota. Mm-hmm. And the father is out of North Dakota. His father is. Okay. And the stud and the mare goes back to Jack and the High Time gal. So, very good bred horse. Never bucked him. Mm-hmm. Not even with a dummy. Okay. And somebody might have a real diamond in the rough. Okay. I'm hoping it really works out for Mark Green.
Mark Green bought him. So. For sure. Yeah. Mark, if you're listening, keep us up to date on how he does. How exciting. Had they come and picked him up yet, Sam?
No, okay. I actually haven't heard from him. And Mark just lives down the road, probably half hour away. So I'd even take him to him if that needs to be.
Okay. And just want to say thank you to everybody that participated in that auction. And my goodness, the stuff that was donated. I mean, it was a real marketplace with all kinds of really, really cool things. I bought a new quilt for our guest bedroom. So Sam, when you come and visit, yeah.
I'll be warm, huh?
You'll be warm. Absolutely. Yeah. And then of course the GoFundMe page is still up. So we still have that possibility of helping out the family here. And then there's a benefit tomorrow night, and you're going to be going to that, Sam, upstate New York. Where's that exactly? And tell me a little bit about what's going on there.
Yeah, it's down by where they were from before they moved to Oklahoma, in Big Flats, New York. Okay. Corning area.
Corning. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. And they're going to have. I just finally figured out everything that's going on. The doors are open at 4:00. They're going to have a dinner, and the auction starts at 7.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Myself, a good friend of mine, and I think I'm going to take my parents down.
Oh, nice. So good.
They wanted to go, and they called and asked if they wanted to drive me, but I think as much as I don't like to drive, I'll still drive them.
There you go. There you go. That'll be excellent. What is that? About an hour, isn't it, from the house for you?
Yes, just about an hour.
Just about an hour. Okay. And then can you give us an update on young Kane Smith? How is he doing? Where's the family?
They were in Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine they're coming out for this. I don't know. I haven't.
Right.
I've talked to him.
Mm-hmm.
Said Kane is doing well. He is back to not being normal, but
Mm-hmm.
very good.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to school.
Okay, good.
And he is playing and doing things that normal kids do. So that he's doing well.
Good. Good.
Couple surgeries will tell the story, I guess.
Do they
Just such a
have
good kid?
kind of a schedule yet on those surgeries? And they're talking Dallas, right? Texas?
Yes, that area.
Mm-hmm.
And October sometime,
Okay.
I think is going to be the first one.
Okay.
Or maybe that's when they're going to get them in to evaluate and see what they're going to do. I don't know, but I imagine they're going to put together a team because this is pretty serious.
Yeah.
I'm not saying uncharted water, but hasn't been traveled on a whole lot.
Super, super rare from everything that I've read about Moya, the disease. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, prayers and thoughts are with the young man and the entire family. I mean, the stress is, thoughts and prayers are with them, right?
Yeah, and it is so rare. I've talked to several doctors, and no one had ever heard of it.
Yeah.
Not a one of them. So we'll just pray for them and pray for the doctors, and that's about all we can do.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Well, give our best wishes to everybody when you see the family and everything tomorrow night.
Okay.
Be real interested in the auction and anything else that's going on up there. So, been a while since we talked. Good golly, the time flies anymore. Last time, I guess I should say, since we spoke, I went racing in New Hampshire. Now, let me back up. I call it racing, Sam. You've been on the track. You know what it is. I say racing because it's, kind of easy to understand, maybe. But it is on road courses. The one that I went to in New Hampshire, 2.5 mile track. Run clockwise, 15 turns, and the elevation changes, Sam. So from the high to the lows, the elevations that we drove was 250 feet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And elements on it that I had never driven before. And let me back up. It's I say racing, it's actually what's called a high performance driving event. And it's basically a chance for you to show up with your car, your Corvette, your Mustang, your Honda, your VW, your BMW, your Porsche, whatever the case may be. Show up, cars that you have, and run on the track at racing speeds. All gentlemen type of rules and understandings, all about common courtesy, such as you don't pass anybody unless they give you a point by. That's just to make sure everybody stays safe and everybody's aware where everybody is. But it was a new track. I had it opened up, I think, in 2015 or 16. Beautiful, beautiful track. This is the first track I've been on where I showed up completely cold. Meaning I had not run a lap on it ever before. I hadn't run a lap on my simulator. And every track that I go to, even if it's the first time, I'll get on the simulator. I use rFactor 2 as my simulator software. I'll get on the track and I'll go run laps. And so even though I'm showing up to a brand new track, I know when I go over this corner, I got to set up for a left-hand turn or a right-hand turn. But just a great, great track. And it really, more than anything, Sam, and this kind of ties back into how we look at the world and so forth, it really brought back to me how I learn. Okay, how I take on something new, how I look at it, how I try to gather the data. And when you start something new and you're doing it at fairly fast speeds, everything comes pretty quickly. And what I found for me when I had an instructor in the car and he's telling me go left, go right, trying to navigate this track with me for the first time, it was confusing to me. It was data overload. However, the next session, he went out and I followed him. And I picked it up very quickly. So the reason I say all that is just kind of paying attention to how I learn, and that hadn't been that apparent to me in a long time. So that was kind of a fun personal bit of insight.
Neat. Now, I got one question, Doug.
Yeah.
You said the elevation changes 200 feet.
Yeah.
Does that affect the performance of the cars, or isn't that enough to make any difference?
No, not enough to make any difference. And we were running fairly low altitudes, to start with, right? We weren't in the mountains. This is a mountainous area in this track. If you look at, I'll put the link up on it. No performance that I picked up at all. The car ran great. I've got it tuned on E85. The thing I did learn is no one in New Hampshire sells E85 fuel. That's what I did learn. I had a friend, thank goodness, Bob. He ran from Concord, New Hampshire. He drove an hour and a half down to Boston and picked me up some E85 fuel. That was the closest. And around here, I can get it in a number of places, so it's not a thing. Now, what I will say is on some of these elevations, pretty steep up the hill, and then as you popped over the hill, it's hard braking to, and you might be going 105 mile an hour popping over the hill, hard braking, but you're going downhill. The G-forces, the car's a little bit light because you've come over the hill. You've got to scrub off about 40 mile an hour, 45 mile an hour to make the right-hand turn. And I think I was trying to recollect, I think there's only one track that has something even remotely close to that I run on, meaning pop over the hill, hard on the brakes, got to scrub it off, and it's just, you feel your stomach come up into your chest almost. There's that kind of G-forces, and it was actually on two different turns. So very cool, whole new dynamic that I hadn't run before. So it was really good from that side. And I am absolutely positively going to go back again. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous track.
Good.
Yeah. So had a lot of fun with that. And then you and I, here's the next big thing that's come up. You and I have been invited up to St. Tite, Quebec. It's the town, St. Tite, T-I-T-E, which is a little bit north of Three Rivers. We've been invited up by Sylvain Bourgeois. He's the director of that rodeo. He's invited us up. We're going to go up and spend a few days up there, catch a performance, and we're going to be doing some podcast recording while we're there, Sam.
Yes, very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah. So this year marks the 55th year for the Festival Western des St. Tite. 55 years they're doing it. And to give them a little bit of perspective, there's usually about 4,000 people live in St. Tite, in the village of St. Tite. And over that 10-day period that they have the rodeo, the Western Festival, 600,000 visitors will come through there in that 10-day stretch. And it isn't just rodeo. I believe I heard there were 11 performances. It's also concerts. Tim McGraw is going to be there. This is a big deal. Sam, you were there. What's your earliest memories of St. Tite? You went up there a bunch, both as a competitor and as a stock contractor.
Yeah, I went up, actually I was like 14 years old when I first went up and competed. And it was much different then than it is now. Much different. It was 2 performances, and it would have been big then for, what it was, but it was very, very much French speaking. Mm-hmm. There wasn't any, like now, most everybody's bilingual, at least if they want to be. Mm-hmm. But this was pretty much all French speaking, and it was more of a normal rodeo atmosphere. Now, being the changes through the years, I call it the Woodstock of rodeo. It's completely crazy what they do up there. And just a great insight to make it what it is.
And I was last up there. I was trying to remember. I think I was up there in 1999 and 2000. Was working sponsors, helping Sylvain, right? And I remember sitting on the main stage. So if you think of this U, at the top of the U is this main stage. And the U then, of course, is all the spectators and the bucking chutes. So you're sitting on the end of this thing, and they had speakers that the Who, right, would show up with and put on a concert. It was absolutely crazy. And the music was so great and so tight of a production. And it was almost my takeaway was, wow, I'm at a rock concert and a rodeo kind of breaks out.
Yeah, the sound system there is incredible, and the people are just there to enjoy themselves. They get up and they dance and they sing, and they, what is usually a low time when they work the ground, they bring the tractor in, that's when they play the music and everybody gets up and rocks out. It's very interesting watching it.
Yeah. Very, very cool. And a lot of the folks that we have worked with in the rodeo arena, when we were doing stuff, Pennsylvania, New York, and so forth, a lot of the rodeo entertainers, I'm going to list them, tell me if I'm wrong, Ryan Rodriguez, Robbie Hodges, Brinson, James, right? They all went on and worked that crowd up there, and they don't speak French, but it's a rockin' place, and they've always done well up there. Anybody I've missed, and you've been up there to see those three guys perform up there. Anyone I've missed that has come through? Just trying to build that connection to New York and St. Tite.
Well, and as a contract act, the One Arm Bandit's been there. The Bull Jumper has been there. Mm-hmm. They try to pride themselves in getting the best entertainment that they can get. And, Ryan Rodriguez, when he was there, he did something that he had him set up a zip line. And he came from the stage that you were talking about and zipped all the way down to the roping end.
Okay.
And with fireworks going off him, and as he's flying down through there, and it's just very entertaining.
Yeah.
It is, and there's 600,000 people come through that town. Well, the arena only seats 8,000 people.
Yeah.
So not everybody comes, but the campers there.
Yeah.
I was there when I had livestock there.
Yeah.
And Calgary was there to look to bring stock out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And but they do now.
Okay.
And the head of Calgary, my goodness, I'm old and senile.
Huh.
Winston Bruce.
Okay.
Winston Bruce was there.
Okay.
So, and I know Winston since I went out to ride in Calgary. Didn't really know him, must have talked to him. That man's mind was incredible. He never forgot anybody. If he remembered me, he remembered anybody that ever came to Calgary.
Okay.
But I did well up there as a kid.
Yeah.
Anyway, we took a helicopter ride looking at over St. Tite.
Okay.
And it was just the amount of campers when you were up there looking down. It's just incredible.
Okay.
Incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. And hard to get rooms, but somehow we've been invited, we got rooms, Sam. That just tells you something, doesn't it?
Well, I'm sure they get all they can get for things like this to try to
Oh,
who calls them and the sponsors and everybody that does it. In the last minute, they're going to try to have rooms. And I've gone up there, contestant, no rooms, contractors. They try to get your rooms, but doesn't always work out. So
sleep in the sleeper of the truck.
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky.
I started towards the end, seeing I was probably the closest contractor.
Yeah.
Other than the ones in Quebec, I just started bringing a camper up there because it was a lot easier.
Yeah, for sure.
Say a lot easier, credentials and all that stuff. That you might be 6 hours before you get a place to park.
Oh, yeah.
But very, very incredible rodeo.
Yep. And I'm excited. They said they built a couple of years ago, a brand new recording studio. So Sam, we're going to be treated while we're up there. This is going to be a lot of fun. And that is September 8th through the 17th of September. I think we're going to be up there 11th, 12th, 13th, something like that. And I will put up the link to their website. You got to go check it out. And if you think you've seen rodeo, Sam, how would you describe, I'm going to call it the rescue race. How would you describe the craziness that goes on up there in the competition? One guy rides in, let me give you this, rides in, jumps off the horse, the other guy jumps on.
They do all kinds of things up there that's never seen anywhere else.
Yeah.
And how do you describe it? It's just like race car without a steering wheel, I guess. Right. They're just going as fast as they can and diving off these horses, and the other one jumping on, and they run two horses out through there, and the one guy jumps off the one horse, and the other guy crawls out his horse onto the other one that's running.
Yeah.
And they do that a lot up there.
They do that.
It's not like the little backyard horse show.
No.
They have high-powered,
it's serious,
well-bred race horses.
You bet. It is serious.
It's very good to watch.
Absolutely.
Actually, my first wife, Sherry, she said, you ought to bring them down for act instead of hiring trick ropers and that. And it made sense, you should bring them down. But
absolutely.
Never did.
Yeah.
They had certain specifications that would have been very difficult to meet here with portable arenas and stuff.
Yeah. And I noticed, I've been watching some videos, and I'll see if I can locate one and post that up in the notes as well. But sometimes some of these jumpers have casts on their arms and that sort of thing. So it's a pretty rough and tumble sport.
Yeah.
And I've been told, Sam, or I know this for a fact, we've got new shirts that are in process right now, gonna be embroidered. Our sponsor, of course, Parasite Systems, is going to be on the one pocket, and BTC, our logo, is going to be in the other. So we're hoping to go up there and represent.
Good. Yeah. We should. Anyway.
We should. I think I'm going to be in awe. Right, I'll be starstruck, I think, up there. And speaking of great rodeos, we got to talk about the ProRodeo Hall of Fame that went on a few weeks ago. I think it was mid-July that actually happened. And Cowtown Rodeo, Piles Grove, New Jersey, was inducted into the ProRodeo Hall of Fame, Sam. Based on the information I've found, the rodeo actually started in 1929 and moved to its current location, I think, in like 1939 or something like that, and really has run almost consistently since then, except for a bit of a break around World War II. And then here's a fact, and Joe Farley actually pointed this out to me, and I did not know this. Cowtown Rodeo was, and is, I'm reading this, known nationwide due to live national TV exposure in 1958 and 1959, and taped exposure nationwide in 1969 and 1970. So they were on live TV, Sam. They were out on national TV. So some of the earliest rodeos that were broadcast came out of New Jersey. They said the rodeo outgrew the original arena in 1967, built the present 4,000-seat arena. So first off, congratulations, Grant and Betsy Harris. What a great rodeo. Sam, you've got memories.
Yeah, and congratulations to Grant and Betsy and everybody that has worked so hard to get this fantastic accomplishment. That's the pinnacle of what you do in your sport. And they've just done an outstanding job. And yeah, I knew that it was on TV back in the late 50s. It's so hard to say that far back in the late 50s.
Because you were barely 20 at that time, right?
Yeah, barely 20. Yeah. But, there we go with that.
Oh, sorry, my math.
Counting math again.
My math. I might be off a little bit.
Well,
Yeah.
But yeah, just an outstanding honor for them. Just incredible. And I never went and rode at Cowtown much. I only went a couple, 3 times probably in my life. It was about 7 hours from my house, and it was Saturday night, and there was normally nothing else you could get to on a Sunday. So it wasn't really worth going that far. But Raymond goes down quite often when he can.
Okay.
And it's just an honor that well deserved.
You bet.
And for them to get an honor like that in the East here is just phenomenal.
And that's
Congratulations.
Absolutely. And then another, I'm going to claim this in our neck of the woods. It was actually out of Michigan, J. Bar J Rodeo. And you've talked about J. Bar J and getting on their broncs in the past. Night Jacket. And you've mentioned this horse. So Night Jacket is inducted in the ProRodeo Hall of Fame. Now, let me just read something here real quick. Night Jacket competed at every Wrangler National Finals rodeo as a bareback horse from 2000 to 2007. During that time, the horse helped 6 different Cowboys reach the pay window in Las Vegas. But here's the thing that stood out for me, Sam. In 1970, they bought a mare that ended up being Night Jacket's grandmother. Okay, so we talk about Born to Buck and all that, the genetics of it, and here's something that stood out. He was great in his own right, but if we look at his progeny, he's produced 4 world champion bucking horses. They said Dirty Jacket won it twice. Big Tex and Deuce's Night won it once apiece. Plus, he had 60 of his genetic offspring at the NFR, where they won over $2 million on them alone. And said this is a once-in-a-lifetime line of genetics in the sport of rodeo. Long ways, Sam, from and the mare was picked up because he had a riding stable and he kept throwing everybody off. That was how it used to be, right? That's how we found bucking horses, or you found bucking horses. Now we're well advanced of that.
And that mare's name was Nightmare. She was... And I probably had seen her buck in my early days, but wouldn't have known, when I was 14, 15 years old, something like that.
Okay.
They came to Rochester, and I got on my first bronc at a rodeo there.
Okay.
But it is phenomenal, phenomenal what that mare has done. And yes, you say that's where you used to get them, and I would, because of stories like this, I went and they called me up, this horse is bucking, I'd go buy it, pay more than the horse is worth, thinking, okay, maybe, and after a while, none of them working. It was like, this is crazy. And every once in a while you get, the Lytics had a horse called Cotton Eye Joe. They bought that way. It was a very good horse. I actually did end up with 2 very good horses from the same man, Dave Wheeler. One was Pistol and the other was Rambo.
Wow. Yeah.
Outstanding bucking horses, just outstanding.
Yeah.
But 90% of those horses that were bucking other people off did not work. But the breeding program, I'm not going to say, probably 40% of those work. So it is having improved immensely.
You bet.
But what they have done with Nightmare and their breeding and is just phenomenal. When if you really look at it, like you said, what, 40 or 60 of his offspring were at the NFR?
60, yes.
60. And not only were 60 of them there, the TV round, the 10th round, which they try to put in the very best bucking horse, maybe not the rankest, but the very best bucking horses in the world. 1 year were 11 out of the 15 were his offspring.
Really? Wow. Did not know that. Wow.
And Jim and Maggie just worked so hard at it. You know, I've got on some of his offspring.
Yeah.
And
oh, you did? Okay. I was going to ask.
Offspring. I'm sorry, not his.
Nightmares?
Yes, Nightmares.
Okay.
Offspring. Yeah.
Okay. You have been on. I was going to ask that. What do you remember about those broncs?
Well, one of them ducked me off a couple times, and some I rode, but they weren't really. They were starting the line really strong when I finished. You know, I think I did see Night Jacket go as a bareback horse, and I stood there with my mouth wide open.
Okay.
Most of them, that line was in the bareback ride, not in the bronc ride.
Oh, I was going to ask that. Okay. Yeah. So not great big horses then.
No, they were big. Jim,
were they? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, when you went to his rodeos, it was going to be big.
Okay.
There was very, very few little horses, but I think probably she was so good in the bareback riding.
Yeah.
That why change it when they're that good?
Well, and I was going to ask that as a stock contractor, having been around, having competed and everything, how did you, and I know you had horses that you would move from the barebacks to the saddle broncs and the other direction. What were you looking for that you said, oh, this is a bareback horse or this is a saddle bronc horse?
Well, most of it was genetics.
It was. Okay.
Yeah. If their parents bucked in the saddle bronc ride, you might use them in the saddle bronc ride. Didn't always work out, but most of it was that way. Or if one of the bareback horse was really good at the start and then started covering a little bit of ground, switch it to the bronc ride, and then pulling on it might slow it up and help it buck better.
I see. Okay.
But trial and error was the biggest part of it. You know, if I had a little horse that I purchased and we probably took 20 head up and were practicing in the winter at my nephew's. Had a little indoor and Raymond was getting on and we were done. You know, we bucked everything, but I had a couple of bareback horses left there. And he said, can I get on that one in the bronc ride? And I said, no, look at the size of her. She's only 900, 1,000 pounds. No.
Right.
And he kind of grumbled around there a little bit. I said, well, what the heck? Let's do it. You know, we're here in the middle of nowhere. And she was just a nice bareback horse. Just nice. Wasn't outstanding. Wasn't anything. Just a nice high school type horse. Well, he got on her in a bronc ride, and this girl did buck.
Oh, wow.
She bucked and really outstanding. Circled around to the left and ended up going to the IFR several times.
Oh, wow.
Being bucking horse of the circuit, bucking horse of the ARA, you know, just really a good, just what you wanted to get on. Just right.
Okay. And two questions. Number one, what was the name of the horse?
Okay. That's a good question. Now I've lost my mind.
And
Stacy's mom.
Stacy's mom. I remember Stacy's mom. Absolutely. Yeah. We'd play the music.
Stacy's mom.
She's got it going on, right? I remember when she broke
Colton
out.
named her, actually.
What's that?
Colton named her.
Colton named her. Okay, Stacy's mom. Yeah, and what was different? Was it because of the saddle? Was it because of the halter and lifting on the bronc rein? Was it because of the spurring motion? What changed and made her buck differently under a saddle?
I think it was probably the halter and somebody pulling on her head. Just slowed her up enough to let her to perform the way we wanted her to.
Yeah, yeah. And you said she only weighed 900 or 1,000 pounds. That's small for a bronc, saddle bronc. You like them a little more stout?
Yeah, and I say that's small. She was, very small for an average saddle bronc. But saying that, one of the rankest horses I ever got out of my life was about a 900-pounder.
Really? Okay. So. And before we move on, you mentioned two horses that you got kind of the way they ended up with Nightmare, right? The grandmother of Night Jacket. One was Pistol and one was Rambo. I remember both of those bucking, of course. And didn't Rambo go on after his rodeo bucking career and become a pickup horse? No. Which one was that?
That
Rob Wright.
That's Rob was my Rambo's half brother.
Oh, okay.
So his Rambo was related to mine.
Oh,
but
his never bucked?
No.
Oh, good golly. I wish I wouldn't ask this question because that's what I had in my mind all the way through. I'm like, that's pretty cool. You take a great bucking horse, turn him into a pickup horse, but no, I'm sorry.
That doesn't happen very often.
I didn't think so.
You might take a horse that didn't buck and turn him into a pickup horse, but not a great one.
I didn't remember that. Now, Kathleen will probably listen and go, of course, Dad, you knew that was his brother. I know she's going to say that. So I may edit this whole section out, Sam. I'm sorry for that question.
No problem. I kind of think it's neat.
And then Luke Branquinho qualified for the NFR 14 times, won the average 3 times, has a record for most NFR round wins by a steer wrestler at 25. And we saw him, if you watched the PBR event in Nashville this last weekend, he was behind the chutes doing interviews and that sort of thing. So great to have him inducted in the Hall of Fame. Did you know of him or ever spoken with Luke?
I have. Didn't know him very well, but he actually came to Painted Pony and did a steer wrestling school that I took some steers up to and took Colton up to.
Oh, okay.
So we got to meet him and talk up there, and very, very knowledgeable, and really surprised me when I seen him behind the buck and chutes at the PBR. But there again, you're so used to bull riders there, but he does an outstanding job, and he does his homework. He's up on everybody what they're doing, and just very knowledgeable, and brings a different aspect to it that probably a bull rider wouldn't do. Right, because he's more of an outsider to the not to the rodeo world. Lord, you can see he's done fantastic, but an outsider to the bull riding world. Right. Of course, he knows Sage Kenzie and the guys that were in the PRCA and when he was, but all these other guys are new to him, and he does his homework and does a great job. You bet. No, exciting to see him inducted in the Hall of Fame. And then another one. Now, this is the Wright family, right? Cody Wright, 2-time PRCA World Championship, champion cowboy, I should say, won in 2008 and 2010. He and his brothers, Jesse and Spencer, also are PRCA World Champions.
and his sons, Ryder and Stetson. Of course, you know of these guys. 2017, 2020, Ryder won the PRCA as a world champion in the saddle bronc. And Stetson, his son, he's won a total of 7 world championships, 4 in the all-around, 2 in the bull riding, and 1 in the saddle bronc riding. And his youngest son, Statler, is in his second year of competition and is already making a name for himself. What do you know about the Wright family other than it's a great big family making a big splash in the sport of professional rodeo?
Well, seeing we're talking about this and you're reading that off and what they've done, I guess Cody would be the night jacket of Cowboys.
I think so. Absolutely.
So,
and you think about that, Sam. What are the odds, right? Over the years, we've seen brothers, of course, competing at a high level. You and your brother Mike, the Garrett brothers and that sort of thing, and the bareback riding. But the odds are pretty slim that you would have this many coming out of a family. Now, a few years ago, you told me, and let me make sure I got this right, that they start bronc riding a little bit different than we might have done over the years, right? They start them on calves or steers?
Steers.
On steers. Okay.
I'm not sure about the rights if they do that.
Okay.
And they probably do, but it was the Etbauer.
Oh, okay.
That did that, which were 3 brothers that rode incredibly well.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yep.
But whatever they do, they're doing it right. And I think, going back this huge success in his family. It's the desire.
Yeah.
And they're around it. They're living it. They're out there in the middle of nowhere working their ranch and doing that. And all they're thinking about is rodeo.
Yeah.
What can I do to make it better? And they're riding horses all the time and working cattle, and the desire to travel the way they do is incredible. And Cody's got his youngest brother, Stu is his name.
Yeah.
He is just coming back. He went over, and it tells you something about the family, but he got hurt pretty bad, I guess they said, and then went over and was a missionary for a couple of years.
Okay.
And now has come back and is riding very well. Rides with a real long rein. I don't understand that too much, but the style has changed since I rode. It was always kind of try to stay down under your rein and look under your rein and see your feet. And now it's, poke your belly out there and just lay back and see how high you can get in the neck. It was more try to get your spurs in them and stay on the horse.
Okay.
But the style has changed. The saddles have changed. It's like anything over the years, things change.
Yeah. And